Everyone's been talking about a possible Feast of Trumpets rapture. However, I just found a mind-blowing connection to the preceding month. The Feast of Trumpets is on Tishri 1, and Elul is the preceding month. Elul is known as the month of the bride. But why is that? It's because Elul is a Hebrew acronym for Ani Ledudi Vedodi Li, which means I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine. And it comes from the Song of Songs. This is the verse, I am my beloved's, my beloved is mine. He browses among the lilies. This can be found in Song of Songs 6:3 and 2:16. This is a big month for weddings in Israel, and this month is a period of preparation for the intense focus on judgment and reconciliation during the upcoming Rosh Hashanah, which is in Tishri, and Yom Kippur, which follow the month of Elul. But that's not even the most mind-blowing part of this. In Elul, they blow a shofar daily, except for Shabbat and the day before Rosh Hashanah. So that means that the 28th of Elul is the last day that they are going to blow the last trumpet. They do this every day as a form of spiritual alarm clock to inspire and prepare them for the high holy days through the process of teshuvah, or repentance. The custom is to blow the shofar after the morning services, and some communities blow the shofar at the end of the service. The shofar blasts are a reminder to examine your actions and resolve to improve in the coming year, a process known as teshuvah. The distinctive notes of the shofar inspire a return to a relationship with God, and it's described as a spiritual alarm clock or God's alarm clock, reminding us to begin the process of self-reflection and repentance. I mentioned that the last trumpet in Elul is blown on the 28th of Elul, but check this out in 1 Corinthians 15:51. It says, "Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed." Now, when he's talking about the last trumpet, a lot of mid and post-tribbers say, oh, that's the trumpet in Revelation. No. Revelation was written 30 years after this was written. There is no way that Paul knew about the 7 trumpets from Revelation because it had not been written by John yet. Of course, the trumpets that Paul mentions could be symbolic for something and not related to a feast day. However, I find it very interesting that the trumpets blown during Elul are a wake-up call or a spiritual alarm clock. And just to let you know when the month of Elul starts, it starts on sundown Saturday, August 23rd, and continues through sundown on Monday, September 22nd, 2025. I think everyone knows this by now, but there are 2,550 days between the Feast of Trumpets on September 22, 2025, and the Day of Atonement on September 15, 2032, which is based on the prophecy in the book of Daniel when you add the days for the Great Tribulation, 1260 plus 1290. And this is why I think that it's more likely that the tribulation starts on the Feast of Trumpets instead of the rapture. In Romans 1:16, it says, "I'm not ashamed of the gospel because it's the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew and then to the Gentile." And we know that the spring feasts were already fulfilled by Jesus. And we know that the fall feasts have not been fulfilled yet, but the fall feasts cannot be fulfilled for the Gentiles before they're fulfilled for the Jews, because God's children are not subject to God's wrath. 1 Thessalonians 5:9, and the entire tribulation is God's wrath. There is one scroll. Jesus is holding the one scroll, and only Jesus is worthy to open the one scroll, because in Revelation 6 we see that the scroll is the wrath of the Lamb. We are not appointed to God's wrath, therefore we are also not in darkness should this day surprise us like a thief. We are children of the light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night or darkness, so let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober. And we also know that a crown of righteousness awaits those who long for the appearance of Christ. Therefore, it is possible that we are out of here before the Feast of Trumpets if the tribulation starts on the Feast of Trumpets. Keep your eyes looking up, for your redemption draws nigh. If you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you will be saved.